NDC led by President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. The hard work and shift we put into the organization of the party towards the last elections has rekindled our spirits. There is every indication that come 2024, inshallah, the NDC will be voted to power again. The NDC will return to power in 2025 to salvage the country from the exceptionally bad governance and mismanagement of the Akufo-Addo and Bawumia government that has plunged us into daily sorrow and misery as a people. My tenure as General Secretary of the NDC witnessed some of the best moments in my life, as it afforded me an opportunity to contribute to shaping both the historical and future trajectory of the NDC and our country's politics. It has been a storied journey, no doubt. The journey over that period was not without its challenges. But by God's grace, I was able to surmount most, if not all, the obstacles that came my way. It is a journey that I could not have navigated without the telling contributions and support of the teeming masses of our members and supporters. It has been heartwarming, the level of support I have received in the course of my work for the party. And I thank you, NDC members, for consistently returning me to power with over 80% endorsement throughout the country. That is why I'm poised to pave the way for other vibrant young men and women to fill my shoes as I contest to the national chairmanship of NDC. Those to whom I'm indebted to for how far I have come are too numerous to name individually. But I would greatly be remiss if I fail to thank all the many party executives, right from the branches through to the constituencies up to the national level, who made my stay in the office of General Secretary worthwhile. I owe a debt of gratitude to our late founder, His Excellency Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings, our late president, His Excellency John Evans Atta Mills, and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. The late Captain Kwajo Chikata, the late Honorable J.H. Osua Champong, the late Honorable Ajay Mensah, the late Honorable Munufie, the late Professor Kofi Uno, Alhaji Mahama Idrusu, luckily he's not late, and all the great men and women from whom we drew inspiration and whose sweat and toil brought this party into being. Because of them, I had the unique opportunity to serve in this capacity. I need also to acknowledge the late Dr. Kwabranje Wayo, Honorable Dr. Kofi Potofi, and Honorable Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo, all of whom I had the privilege of working closely with during my tenure when they also served as national chairman of the National Democratic Congress. I cannot end these acknowledgements without mentioning the other real architects of my general secretaryship bid some 17 years ago. And this is a secret I had kept to myself. These were my colleagues in Parliament who saw that I had a contribution to make at that critical moment in the party's history. Remember, the party was divided into President Rawlings's camp and Chairman Obeda Samua's camp. And my colleagues in Parliament felt that there is somebody who can come out, defy all these divisions, unite the party, and position the party for victory. They are the Right Honorable Do Ajaho. He was then Honorable Member for Aveno. The Right Honorable ASK Bagben. I've already mentioned Honorable John Dramani Mahama of Bole Bamboy. I've mentioned him in a different capacity already. And His Excellency Dan Abudakpi. These were the architects of my general secretaryship bid, because the party itself was divided. And the only united front was in Parliament. And these are the people who met and decided that let us push this man. He can unite the party and bring us back to power. I will be leaving the position gratified at the many successes that we chalked together as a party. While I served as General Secretary, many improvements were brought to the running of the party and many milestones were reached. It will be impossible to recount all the gains we made over the years, but permit me to recall a few that stand out. Under my stewardship as the chief scribe, we won the watershed 2008 elections when everybody felt that it wasn't possible. And J.H. Mensah and the others were predicting a total collapse and annihilation of NDC. Again, we campaigned vigorously together with President John Dramani Mahama over just 4 months to retain power in 2012 after the untimely demise of President John Evans Atta Mills. When the MPP led by Nana Akufo-Addo mischievously challenged our 2012 presidential victory at the Supreme Court, in a deliberate attempt to unseat President John Dramani Mahama, I courageously and fearlessly mounted the witness box. A Pawai Tapa in the witness box for the first time. Together with lawyers Chachu Chikata and the likes of lawyer Tony Lita, lawyer Kujo, we made nonsense of Dr. Baumia's and MPP's fake evidence, which they submitted to support their case, and won victory for the NDC. The NDC acquired an ultra-modern head office, the first of its kind in Ghana, which is equipped to make efficient administration of the party possible. You remember the $20 million accusation? I stood my ground. Many party executives were not willing to move into that office. I did. And stayed for 3 months before others joined me there. The head office has a modern conference facility and a well-stocked library accessible to both members of the party and the general public. Now students from universities are going to Professor Atta Mills's library at NDC headquarters to study. Let me thank President Atta Mills, the then President Mahama, and all the key people who worked to put up this building. We established the Institute for Social Democracy, which Dr. Haji has already spoken about, to deepen knowledge about our ideology and worldview among members and the larger Ghanaian public. We ensured greater democratic decision-making in the party by expanding the National Executive Committee to include representatives of the youth and women. When I took over, there were only 2 representatives from the regions: the regional chairman and the regional secretary on the National Executive. We felt that as a social democratic party, that was wrong. So we expanded the National Executive Committee to include all regional youth organizers and all regional women organizers and all organizers. That is how come our decisions today are more representative of the party's wishes. Our electoral college system has been expanded to make it the largest in Ghana now. When we took over, it took a small number of delegates who will be meeting at Congress to choose our flag bearer. We decided that the decision as to who the flag bearer ought to be should be taken by the masses. So today, branch executives participate in the choice of who our flag bearer ought to be. We introduced an electronic membership registration drive to allow more efficient data collection and information. This helps us with good knowledge of our membership, their skills set, and distribution across the country and abroad. We injected more transparency and accountability into the financial administration of the party through the introduction of electronic dues collection and other payment systems. It did not come easy. Those who were benefiting from manual collections fought this reform, but we stayed on course. And now, every payment is made through an electronic system, and it has a trail into our bank accounts. And when we disburse monies, they don't go through people who hand over to other people, who hand over to other people. And across the road, there will be editing and editing and editing. We have abolished that system. And because of this level of transparency, today, we are always the first political party to submit our audited accounts to the Electoral Commission. We compiled and published the historical record of the NDC into one body of work readily available to party members and the general public. NDC leaders did not want to write. Some were vowing, we will go into the grave with what is in our head. I kept saying that, let us put something down. Otherwise, in future, Nana Akufo-Addo will get up one day and say that he established NDC. So, again, we defied the odds and collected all information in our archives about the administrative history of this party. Luckily, many of the architects were alive, so they were interviewed, and where there was documentation, we put it together. So today, you have a 1,500-page reference book about the history of NDC. And to a large extent, the history, the political history of Ghana, where you will find evidence to support the fact that Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah remains the founder of the nation Ghana. In my capacity as General Secretary and as a unifier, I led negotiations with the breakaway party, the Democratic Reform Party, then led by Dr. Obeda Samoa, which led to its merger back into NDC. Those of you who were not around, the first truly democratic elections of this party were held in Koforidua. And a whole lot of national executives were voted out. That was where I came onto the scene. I did not see the defeated comrades as enemies. We kept communicating with them and encouraging them to abandon the new party they had formed to come back to their fold. That was what led to the merger of the NDP back into NDC. DFP, sorry. DFP back into NDC. It means the NDP is on the way. So, ladies and gentlemen, today, you see some of the key members of the DFP occupying very important positions in NDC. I can mention Comrade Bidzeden, the General Secretary I defeated. He's now a member of Parliament. Dr. Obeda Samoa is now a key member of the Council of Elders of NDC. We didn't just abandon them, but we kept encouraging them till we were able to convince them to come back for us to have a stronger NDC. We projected the NDC internationally and forged closer ties with like-minded progressive parties across the globe. As a result, the NDC has the distinction of holding the vice presidential position of Socialist International. The Socialist International is the biggest political organization across the globe and is the leading international grouping of all progressive parties in the world. And I became the vice president because of NDC. We also established the Professional Forum, the NDC Lawyers Association, and the Progressive Intellectuals to give solid intellectual and legal inputs into the policy and programs of the party. Now NDC is stronger. Who says we don't have the men? Who says we don't have the lecturers? Who says we don't have the lawyers? Thank you very much. We have made the NDC a more youth-oriented organization by affording many young people the opportunity to participate in international conferences and training programs, including scholarships to study medicine and other disciplines abroad. In fact, anytime I attend Socialist International meetings, I make sure I pick a young person from NDC to participate and learn. The foregoing constitutes only a small fraction of what we have achieved in my time as General Secretary. As all good things come to an end, my stay as the General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress is in its twilight phase. And as this time fast approached, it became necessary to carry out honest self-assessment and introspection about my achievements and my failures. I had a choice between calling time on my political career and walking into the sunset to support from behind, or charting a new path. I find that despite our best and collective efforts as a party, a lot more remains to be done to finally achieve the level of efficiency and effectiveness we desire as a party and ensure total victory in 2024 elections and beyond. Despite the years of hard work we have put into building this party, our collective vision to build the strongest, most fearless, most courageous, most formidable, most electable, and viable political organization in Ghana and Africa remains work in progress. That means we must put in even more work than before, and to do this, we need to have a fine blend of experience, fearless, trustworthy, and innovative thinking at the helm of the party. With courage and tact, there's no way the NDC would have been defeated in Ayawaso West Wogon by-elections. That defeat emboldened the new patriotic party to roll out a mega diabolical plan which claimed the lives of 8 of our compatriots in the 2020 elections. May their souls rest in perfect peace. And I promise that under my chairmanship, we shall win 2024. Let the NPP bring it on. And when we win, we shall ensure that justice is done. The dead deserves justice. And so are the grieving family members yearning for justice. I am a firm believer in the truism that organizations must reinvent and rejuvenate themselves from time to time, and as the NDC abounds in talents, my exit from the General Secretary's love will usher in a new dispensation that allows the injection of a new face with new ideas. I also do know that the complexities of Ghana's political terrain and our immediate and long-term objective as a party require that these new ideas receive experience complementation to hit the desired target. But it must be the right kind of experience, honed through years of principled consistency and committed service to the cause and ideals of the National Democratic Congress. After lengthy consideration, deliberation, and consultation with my family, friends, and many within our party, I have taken the humble view that the vast experience I have gained as General Secretary should be placed at the disposal of the party in a different capacity. I have therefore decided to run for the position of National Chairman of the NDC in the upcoming National Executive election slated for December 2022. I have not taken this decision lightly. I have weighed all the possible scenarios and concluded that the experiences garnered over the years will prove very useful in our forward march as a party. The order of business before us, both in the immediate and distant future, which includes dislodging the obnoxious MPP government led by Akufo-Addo and halting the precipitous collapse of our country, means that we need to marshal our very best arsenals. Together with the soon-to-be elected new General Secretary and the national executives, we can position this party to realize its ambition and prospects as the go-to umbrella body of all progressives in Ghana and on whose time-tested principles our country's future rests. I come to this contest with a clear mind on what needs to be done going forward and how to build on the gains of the past and present. There is a whole raft of reforms that I would like to see implemented under my chairmanship and in conjunction with all stakeholders. These, I believe, will further strengthen the NDC and make it even more viable. The following will be some of the proposals and policy positions I will be bringing on board for consideration as National Chairman. 1, it is true that I have been the longest-serving General Secretary of any political party in Ghana. But it is my view also that organizations need to grow and evolve as they do so. I think the time has come to consider the introduction of term limits for office holders in NDC, as this will help encourage participation of young people at the highest levels of the party and make office holders more accountable. 2, I would also propose a decentralized national congress to elect party executives, and as we have done with the flag bearer. I'll propose that they are, as a first step, held at the regional level, and then after testing the outcomes, held at constituency levels. The direct benefit of this is cutting down the astronomical cost of holding large national congresses with thousands of participants and the associated risks of traveling from far and near for such congresses. Special and well-structured party conferences devoid of campaigning can be held subsequently to discuss party constitutional and policy matters as well as matters of national interest. For many years, we've all known that the current mode of selection of party executives and candidates at all levels is too costly and unsustainable and has implications for governance when we come to power. For a mass-based organization like the NDC, there is an undeniable need for much broader participation by as many members of the party as possible and at the least possible cost. We cannot perpetually encourage the unsustainable expenditure associated with vying for positions in the party. It is for this reason that we attempted universal suffrage in 2015 primaries. Despite varying degrees of success and challenges during that attempt, it remains the best way to curb monetization and restricted participation in party primaries, and I will be tabling it for consideration as chairman of this party. We will deepen mass registration of party members with a view to achieving continuous registration and ultimately building a fully integrated database for more efficient management. This will help eliminate disputes about memberships and reduce opportunity for manipulation of registers for electoral purposes. It will enhance dues collection and other funding avenues like donations and the rest. As national chairman, I will champion the provision of a permanent campus for the Institute for Social Democracy to make it a fully fledged institution of political and ideological learning with accreditation and open access to social democratic parties, institutions, labor union leaders, and personnel of civil society organizations in and outside Ghana. The party school will run programs for all office holders in the NDC and bring them up to speed with their responsibilities. Many of the conflicts that occur in the party is born out of the fact that people are elected and they operate the party according to the knowledge they have acquired earlier on. If you elect teachers, they try to run the party there like gnats. If you elect GPRTU leaders, they run the party there as leaders. NDC must train its leadership across the country in the ways the party run and according to our party's constitution. And we can only do this when we have this permanent campus of the Institute of Social Democracy. The party, I beg your pardon, I will collaborate with my successor General Secretary, whoever he may be, to continue with the financial reforms we are currently implementing, to give the branches, constituency, and regional wings of the party greater financial autonomy and independence with strict financial and accounting lines to ensure maximum transparency in the collection and utilization of funds within the party. We will revive the NDC Heroes Fund to serve as a sustainable means of supporting party functionaries who suffer disabilities in the course of their duties in the service of the party, or their dependents in the event of death. In short, I will lead my colleagues as your chairman to make the NDC a formidable, attractive, and modern organization that will be the party of choice for the teeming masses of Ghanaians, the youth, the women, the vulnerable in society, and people from all walks of life and background. The NDC will be the reference point for effective social mobilization to unleash the potential of the Ghanaian to achieve any feat and realize our collective aspirations. Eyezu! Eyezu! Fellow Akatamanso.
Live pictures now of Johnson Asiedu Nketia finally and officially declaring his intent to run as the chairperson of the National Democratic Congress after serving the political party for close to 17 years as its general secretary. Now he wants to introduce term limits for anyone who will run after him. Well, these are but a few of the issues that Johnson Asiedu Nketia pointed out to, a number of financial reforms and also some deep-cutting policies he would want to roll out as leader or the chairperson of the opposition party. Let's get some reactions to this very intent that's been declared. Elikem Kotoko as General Secretary of the Young Professionals Group. That's a pro-party group of young persons who are professionals. He's been listening and monitoring the declaration by Johnson Asiedu Nketia. Elikem, thank you for your time. He says he would make the party attractive to both women, men, and the youth. As the young professionals, how is this coming to you? And listening to some of the reforms he's putting in place, he wants a tenure, a cap on the tenure for general secretaries so we can have younger people serve in office for the NDC. Elikem, kindly unmute so we can get your thoughts on this.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I think first and foremost, I must congratulate Mr. Johnson Asiedu Nketia for his showmanship. As you are aware, he's been the longest-serving General Secretary of the NDC. But he has just gone a notch further to demonstrate that the NDC, being a party which is left of center, is appreciative of healthy competition in a democratic dispensation. The reforms he seeks to actually implement, should he be given the nod as chairman of the NDC, are equally laudable. I am one of those who even believe strongly that term limits are equally very important, but we ought to look at it carefully to see whose interest that serves. And so the fact that he has been General Secretary and has acquired enough experience and wants to progress, nothing bars him at all from doing so. We in the young professionals believe that anybody who is capable and is settled on by the masses, when I say the masses, referring to the electorate or the delegates of the NDC, we would actually have, that person will have our back. I would want to suffice that to say that as young people, we look forward to make sure we blend our little experience with the most experienced people in order to make sure that we advance the cause of the party or the political party that we belong to. And that is just one good thing. I don't know, maybe other people may also have their declarations to make very soon or campaign launch as to the intentions they want to, the harbor that they want to contest for.
Johnson Asiedu Nketia himself has come under intense criticism in recent time, the fact that he's been in office for the past 17 years. What else is Johnson Asiedu Nketia looking for?
So long as he has not flouted any law, I am not sure that any criticism is justified. Even you would agree with me that in your studios, you may have some of your people criticize you. The very good old John Dramani Mahama even is still being criticized, even though he's not the president of Ghana. And so that should not be a basis at all. But I think he has outlined a few of the things he has done. The fact that we have put records down to administrative records about the NDC, some decisions that were taken, and he has outlined them. Is that enough? Is it more than too much? Will it convince the delegates to say, let's give him our thumb so that he can move further in order to advance the progress we all seek? And is he capable enough to win the election? After winning the election, can he also be capable to govern as a chairman? It's one thing being a chairman, another being a general secretary otherwise. For that reason, but I think that he has demonstrated, just like all others who occupy various positions, their capabilities. And even though he may have his shortfalls, I think that democracy allows for what he is doing, which is laudable. And we are also learning from that as young people.
He's now mentioning the name of the former President John Dramani Mahama as part of those who orchestrated his electoral victory as General Secretary. Well, he says he's mentioning his name in a different capacity at the time when he was Member of Parliament. But that's where the question arises as to party unity before and after the National Congress come December. There are fears that your party may be disintegrated after December.
I'm sure you are aware how old the NDC when it comes to politics. Disintegration is not part of what we have in our encyclopedia. The fact is that in forging unity, there's always that display of maturity, which is something that is imbibed in everybody who believes in the left of center ideology, which the NDC stands for. And so I do not think there may be some followers and other people who may interpret other things to mean different things. But that is not it. The basic thing is that Johnson Asiedu Nketia has decided or declared his intention to contest and has launched his campaign. Has he done anything wrong against the laws? No. And so I am certain that having mentioned former President John Dramani Mahama, if you gave him all the time, he would have mentioned all other names of people, notable stalwarts within the party that he worked with. It is the reason why we in the young professionals believe that whoever is settled on, or all those settled on finally as executives of the party, are the very people that we will be working with regardless, because we are supposed to be colorblind at this point in time until when people are elected. Suffice it to say that even my own self, as I speak to you, I have the intention of contesting for Deputy National Organizer. Many are those who may also be contesting for that position. The ultimate is to seek the best of the party and ensure that we wrestle power from President Nana Akufo-Addo, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and the NPP that has plunged this nation into total chaos.
And we need to state that that event is just wrapped up where Johnson Asiedu Nketia declared his national chairmanship. Now that leaves the position open for those who are contending. 3 names have come up, and there are also a lot more issues happening as to how your party should be going about the reorganization process. The General Secretary just raised the point about decentralizing the election process. How soon should considerations be given to such a move? The fact that it will first of all reduce cost, the tension, and also make the process a bit more transparent if we decentralize the elections.
I think decentralization is just part of the democratic process and the way to go. I believe strongly that having said that as part of his intentions, it means that when given the nod as chairman, under his leadership, before he even exits, if it is going to just go for a single term, it means he will make sure that that is implemented. And so the next Congress, which will be probably another 4 years from now, would make sure that that happens. And it's going to be a good one. I hold a view that is of my personal opinion, that even reorganization, probably one would say should have been left for the newly elected officers who actually may come in and want to supervise over that, but not the incumbent who will do that. Then when you take over new leadership, what if the new leadership also wants to have another reorganization? But those are all the nuances of administration, and every leader and their own style and how it inures to the benefit of the larger society.
And finally, the question about how attractive or otherwise the NDC is. Johnson Asiedu Nketia says, when I become the chairperson, giving you the best bet, we'll win the 2024 elections. Is the NDC confident of victory, knowing that you're not even done with your internal processes yet? It's beginning to raise a lot of agitations, even before you go into the 2024 elections.
There's no reason to worry. I mean, the NDC, as you'll agree with me, but because you're an empire, you cannot say so publicly. The NDC has become the most trusted and attractive political organization in Ghana at the moment. More reason being that had we not given the opportunity to the current dispensation being overlooked by being supervised by President Anado and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Many would have said that, oh, President Anado would have been the best president if we had voted for him. We've given him the opportunity, and you and I can agree to the fact that we find ourselves in an economic mess by people perceived to be the economic messiahs to the fortunes of this country. So as it stands, the NDC is not only by chance actually the most trustworthy or attractive one, but it is the only choice and alternative that is available because we have got longer time in governance, more experience, and we've got more of the men. You don't want me to mention names and just oppose them against the people that they have. You will see them fall flat because none comes close to the people that will come out from the NDC.
Anyway, we'll have to leave it here. Thank you so much for your time. Elikem Kotoko, General Secretary, Young Professionals, a pro-NDC group. And that's all we have for you here on The Pulse. And bless us again to log on to myjoyonline.com. We have updates on all of our stories for you. Thanks for your company. We'll see you next time.